Yes.
Wait, when are we?
Welcome back to Minus Cast 847. Today we're talking about Pooper Mario.
Pooper Mario? I've heard of that video game.
That's a game that's coming out next month.
Origami King.
The Origami King.
I wish it was the Origami King. Could you imagine? It's just a game about like a paper monkey.
Actually, I wish it was Origami Kong, and it was it featured Donkey. Featured Donkey Kong.
That would actually be so cool. It's like Donkey Kong's the new villain, and then like you and Bowser have to take him out. He's tired of not being the villain, I guess.
How have they never made... I know that this has nothing to do with what we're talking about today, but how have they never made Donkey King, where it's just like a parody version of Don King, but like a gorilla? Anyway, what are we talking about today, fellas?
Pooper Mario, we already covered that.
We're talking about Paper Mario.
That was a great cast. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.
Grant, if you could play the outro now, please. No, okay.
All right, welcome back.
Yes. What did you guys think of the trailer?
Oh,
It started out really creepy.
Yeah,
It did, yeah.
See, it was funny because I went from waking up and seeing it on my iPad to immediately watching it for a video, and I had woken up from a nightmare anyway, and then I went to this. I'm like, oh my god, am I still dreaming? I honestly thought that for a second. It was really creepy. I'm like, why does Peach look so like...
It was really that bad, huh?
Yeah.
You thought it was a nightmare? When you saw the trailer?
Honestly, dude, I was so out of it when I was recording that video, and yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously, you know, it's real. I love the creepy vibe that it has. It gives me a lot of Thousand Year Door, Super Paper Mario kind of vibes in terms of how the way the story is going to go. It looks like it's going to be something really, really interesting, something really memorable. So, I guess actually we should all talk. Let's all just like disclose which Paper Mario games have we all played.
That's a good point.
Oh.
I played like half of the first game, Thousand Year Door and Super.
Okay. What about Drew and Tetra?
I believe I played all of them except for Paper Jam, the spin-off.
Wasn't that a Mario and Luigi game technically?
Yeah. I mean,
like
that's why I don't know if you would count it, but I think I've played each of the other. Oh, no, that's not fair. I did not finish Sticker Star because it made me so mad that I could not finish it. But I did finish Color Splash.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
What about I've heard.
I don't think I've ever beaten a Paper Mario game. I think I played like 80% of the first one, 80-ish% of the second one.
You got to finish the Thousand Year Door.
I played very little of Super Paper Mario, and then I played up to like World 4, I think, in Sticker Star. Never played Color Splash, but yeah, in the first one, I kind of just got stuck on the Cloud Boss, like in that whatever world that's called, and I just couldn't beat him. And I like whatever I did, couldn't beat him. It was like I think it's like the second last world. But yeah, stuff like that kind of just happened to me, and I kind of just never came back to it. But even that was like at least 5 years ago.
Okay. So, and I have played, I've actually recently finished Color Splash, and over the past like year and a half, I've played through all the Paper Mario games, and I wanted to disclose that, just so everyone knows where all of our perspectives are going to be coming from while talking about this trailer, because I think it's interesting, because I'm seeing a lot of people say, this looks like the older games, as well as saying, this looks like the newer games, and as someone that has played all of them, it seems to be kind of trying to do a little bit of everything. You know, the story reminds me a lot of the older titles, the graphics, visual style, very much like the newer ones. The battle system, I have no idea what that even is. I don't know if it's going to be fun or not, but it's interesting for sure.
Have you guys seen like that little like Japanese snippet of the combat or no?
Yes. Like the 360-degree ring combat, yeah.
There was a comment on that video that I really love, which is like, this is bringing a new, this is like redefining what turn-based combat is.
I saw something that was like turn-based combat broke, and then combat-based turning woke. Something like that.
Dude, I almost wonder if there is a joke in the game that like they literally break the fourth wall with turn-based combat, and then they immediately introduce that. I could see that. That is something that Paper Mario would do, and that's really exciting to me. I mean, I've also seen a lot of complaints about how it doesn't play or look exactly like Thousand Year Door, like not everyone, a lot of people have been requesting, and personally, that doesn't bother me. I don't know if it bothers you guys, but I just want it to be fun. It's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like, sticker stars, combat, or color splashes, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I'm in the camp where I prefer it to be like a more traditional RPG with star points and stuff. I don't think that's inherently attached to Paper Mario. Like I don't think Super Paper Mario is a bad game because it doesn't have RPG elements in that sense. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's something that I don't know why they don't go back to. I know a lot of people want it. Maybe they just, again, I think Drew mentioned his videos, like where it's kind of just sales numbers, where Sticker Star sold the most, so they must think it's what people want, where it's not really true, because it's just you can't use sales figures as what. I guess that's not true. I don't know. I guess most people might think, like, the majority of people that aren't vocal on the internet might genuinely think that Sticker Star is a good game, and we might not even know about it. Like,
could
the people
you
that
imagine,
played it,
though?
loved it, and just don't talk about it, they might love it. Who knows?
You know what I found when I made my video on Super Paper Mario? The most interesting thing that came out to me was that I was first I was surprised to see there are a lot of people who do like Sticker Star. That was some people's favorite Paper Mario title, which is I would guess is not a popular opinion, but is nonetheless an opinion that a lot of people have. And I found that it seems to be a 1-to-1 correlation, as far as I can tell from the people in my comments, that inevitably it feels like the game that each Paper Mario player picked up first tends to be their favorite. It seemed like everybody who grew up, like the younger kids on my channel, the people who grew up with Sticker Star and then played Color Splash, they saw this and see it as a continuation of the same thing, and they're thrilled. And then there are people who grew up with either the first or second or third title, and they might have a different perspective.
I've noticed that with Mario Party as well. I was really shocked when I made videos on Mario Party 9 and 10 last year. A lot of people were like, "This is my favorite Mario Party." I'm like, "Really? This is actually your favorite
Say
one?"
that with a straight face.
But the thing is, it's like that's what they grew up with, and like you said, it's a very similar situation with Sticker Star. And honestly, like the card mechanics isn't like, it's not like broken or anything. I mean, it's fine, but when you actually play the older ones, I played the older ones first. I played them in order. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to go to the card system. Like, it was frustrating to go from really fun combat to just something that felt really sluggish and just not very fun.
Mario Party 10 is busted.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Mario Party 10, while we're talking about Mario Party 10, it's busted. Bowser is actually broken in that game. There's, like, if you're not Bowser in the main mode, like the main featured mode in that game.
it's like impossible to lose.
Yeah,
when
so
you're
when you get
Bowser,
to the end, it's pretty much you just have to hope that Bowser doesn't outroll you, and it's impossible. Anyway.
Yeah. I was just going to say, from my perspective, having gone through the entire Paper Mario series, the best way I could describe what happened to Paper Mario when Sticker Star came out was, for better or worse, the series changed and lost a huge amount of the depth that the games used to have, but added a lot of polish. I think Sticker Star, I will disclose this to the viewers, I despise Sticker Star. I went through like a funk for like 2 months where I thought I just hated video games now because I was so excited for Sticker Star, and I played it.
Video games,
and I thought it was awful, and I thought, like, what is wrong with me that I'm not enjoying a Mario game? But then I went back and played the other Paper Mario games, and I was like, oh no, okay, it's the game. But what happened is they took out a lot of the depth, a lot of the mechanics that people came to know and love, and it's not solely responsible for that. I think Super Paper Mario, I mean, they changing to an action RPG instead of a turn-based RPG. Some people could argue that also took out some depth. Right. But with Sticker Star, it was like the whole methodology behind the development was trying to strip out all of the quote-unquote unnecessary elements and kind of rebuilding it with this papercraft world. They really leaned into the paper aspect of it.
That's another thing. Whereas it didn't really feel like a world in Sticker Star. It was just like levels, which a lot of people didn't like that either. Yeah. And
that was the same thing with, or no, it wasn't the same with Color Splash. They did have an overarching world, right? There was no world map, I don't think, with Color Splash.
There was a world map technically.
Is there?
Yeah, but it did feel.
I haven't played it in a while, but
it's kind of weird because it did feel more fleshed out, I guess. It's hard to describe. Yeah, there was still a world map in it. In this game, it's hard to tell if it's going to be, kind of structured the same as like Color Splash and Sticker Star, based off of the screenshots, it looks like it's going to be structured like Thousand Year Door, where you take warps to go to different worlds, and if that's the way they're going to do things, then that's great. But
see, the way that it looks like to me is it looks identical to Color Splash. Like I feel like to me this looks like Color Splash, a sequel to Color Splash.
That's the thing. It's hard to tell because there was the shot where you saw all the pipes, and that's my thinking of, okay, well maybe that's how you go from place to place. But it also could be, level based like it was before.
I think visually it looks great. Like I remember, I haven't seen much of. Like, for as much as I hear people talk about Sticker Star and Color Splash, I know practically next to nothing about those games, particularly Sticker Star. I feel like that's the one game, like, I know nothing about that game. I don't even know, like, how any of it works, but, like, knowing the little bit I know of Color Splash, I'm looking at it right now. Like, you guys are probably wondering, where is he looking at? I'm looking at, like, the game right now, and the trailer, I mean, and it looks like great. Despite the simple aesthetic of it, it looks fantastic.
It actually looks a lot like Color Splash and like Yoshi's Crafted World kind of combined together. It's really weird how it kind of shares those art styles. So
I think that's something that sticks out for me, and I'm probably among this group I will probably be the most critical of Origami King, honestly, just because of my affinity for the Paper Mario series, and I've stuck with it for many years. And I did want to say that about Sticker Star. Like, despite the fact that I despise Sticker Star as a game, I can concede it has one of the best soundtracks of any Mario game, maybe any, or close to, like, it's in the ranking of some of the best soundtracks of any game, period, to me. And then the visuals are undeniably impressive. Like, it's really cool that they built this whole Papercraft world in the same way that Yoshi's Crafted World was impressive, Kirby's Epic Yarn. I feel like there are a couple other titles like that where they really tried to go for. There was a newer Kirby game that was like a clay style, like claymation type thing.
Rainbow Curse.
Oh, for Wii U,
Yeah, I'm thinking so it's more of the same in that sense. But I get, Nate, what you're talking about, where it feels like it's kind of a mixed of it's a mixture of the two, where it looks like I'm looking at the Origami King trailer.
Yeah, we all have it like on loop right now.
Yeah. It looks to me like a direct sequel to Color Splash, which in my mind was a direct sequel to Sticker Star. But it does seem like they are trying to inch back towards that successful formula that really worked for them in the first place. My concern is that when you look at the entire library together, it almost feels like when Sticker Star came out, it was almost like a reboot. You know how like series are all about reboots these days, but it feels like they took the Paper Mario formula and tried to go a drastically different direction. And you could argue the same thing for Super Paper Mario, but I would say that if you've played the whole series, and if you watched the video that I referenced earlier, the video where I basically lay out the case.
If anyone wants to check it out.
Sure.
Yeah.
I lay out a case for why I think that Super Paper Mario is closer to the first two titles than Sticker Star and Color Splash. And I think from seeing the little bit, again, there's not much we can go off of. There's, 2 minutes of gameplay? Not even gameplay, just 2 minutes of footage. But from the little bit that I've seen, it feels definitely closer to that last half than the first half to me. Undeniably, visually, it looks like Color Splash. But also, there's just little things that, maybe if you haven't played the first couple Paper Mario games, there are a few things that just seem a little bit off. I would bring up, for instance, one thing I saw a lot of people on Twitter were going wild about is the potential partners that are in the game. Like, you've got there was a Toad that showed up. There's a
Bob-omb. There's Kamek, Bowser Jr.
He introduces himself as Bob-omb. And I think if you look at the box art, I want to say, let me look up the box art here.
The box art potentially shows all the partners. Yeah, it's actually really amazing box art.
Now, here's what I will say, because the thing that struck me about this box art, if we can pop it up on screen, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
But if you look on the left side in particular, you'll see, assumedly, the characters that Mario will be more often than not interacting with. And I see we've got a Shy Guy, Koopa Troopa, Spike, Toad, Goomba, and Bob-omb. Now, of course, we've got the folded Bowser on the right. I think that's a cute little addition, and I think that'll be a fun little character arc in the game. That's the sort of character that I like to see in Paper Mario.
Yeah.
But the generic Mario enemies that we have seen for 25 years plus is like, that does nothing for me. That, like, I want to see that is the biggest difference to me between this title or Sticker Star, Color Splash compared to the first three, is if you go back and play those first three titles, there are unique original
characters.
Races of characters.
And it's not even hard. Give the
It's literally
Koopa
like,
give
add
the
a hat
Koopa
on, change the colors.
hat. give the Goomba a kerchief, you're good. It's not that hard, but they refuse to
Like
do
we
it.
had Goombario and Goombette in the first game, right? Like,
To
can
be
you not
fair,
just
I think
a little bit of character, a little bit of juice?
here's
you know?
the thing.
I think Goombario is the perfect example because I played Thousand Year Door and Super Paper Mario before I went back to the first game, and all I could think of was like, wow, Goombella is just so much more interesting than Goombario, but at least he has a hat. Like I can tell him apart from the rest of his family. Like,
Yeah.
Well, there
It
is
just feels a little simple, like two-dimensional and just kind of soulless to have those characters that you've already seen generic versions of for decades. Like, can we get something a little new, a little unique? Like,
Yeah, there is theories
Toad
though.
Number 5,000.
There is theories that you will be able to change how your partners look because there is a playable Toad that looks normal, and then in later footage he has like a hat on and then like a brand new shirt on. So there is the possibility that they will change over time, and if that's the case, I think that's all right. But yeah, I agree. I do miss like having unique characters beyond just like simple Mario enemies. I mean, I'm trying to remember. There was
That's
a
my
couple of
concern,
characters
like-
that weren't even like regular Mario enemies. They were just straight up made for Paper Mario.
Yeah.
And that's it. They don't have any of that.
Yeah,
they
no,
were
there's
staples,
a ton.
yeah.
Like any of the first 3 games have tons of unique characters that never appeared in a future
Right.
Mario game. They were just specific to those worlds.
Super Paper Mario,
And
all of your well, I don't know if I'd classify them partner
every
characters,
character
but they were
has
all
unique.
brand new.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like Mario's been transported to this weird digital universe, right? Like that's the way that they used to craft the world. Whereas now it's just like, oh yeah, we're in Papercraft Mushroom Kingdom, and like and that's the thing that really killed Sticker Star for me is if you play the first 3 titles and then go to Sticker Star, the first thing that jumps out to you, at least
a
it did to
lot
me,
of Toads.
was yes,
generic
a ton of Toads.
Yeah.
But also the paper visuals, like the fact that the world is made of paper, is no longer just a visual aspect. It's no longer just a fact of the world.
I wanted to bring that up. Yeah.
It's just a constant focus, and
like,
paper in and of itself is not fun. Like there's nothing inherently cool about paper. Like there's no reason.
You
Like,
take that back.
but like as I mentioned in the video that I have referenced 10 times now, the first Paper Mario game was a sequel to Super Mario RPG. It was Super Mario RPG 2. The only reason, as far as I understand, that it was in like this 2.5D perspective was because they were building this new RPG adventure on the Nintendo 64. They didn't really have the resources to build a whole 3D world.
That's exactly why they did
at least
that.
on the time frame they wanted. So they had these 2D sprites in this 3D world. Paper wasn't important. It was called Mario Story in Japan. It had nothing to do with paper. But then when it came to Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, they added a little bit extra, just some fun things like the paper airplane. Super Paper Mario didn't reference paper at all, but was like this 2.5D, swapping mechanic.
There might have been a couple of jokes in that game from what I can remember
There
about
were a few
paper,
jokes, yeah.
But that's pretty much... Yeah, I agree. Ever since Sticker Star, there has been a huge emphasis on paper.
they just they bash you over the head with it. Like,
Yeah.
you better know this
That's
game's
why,
well
like,
different.
Honestly, I think that's
Yeah.
fine for one game, but like this is the third game, and it looks like it's going to be a ton more paper puns. And it's like, okay,
And
guys,
that's how I feel.
this is the third game.
sorry.
Let's move past this. Let's go back to a
Yeah.
more original
I don't mind
plot.
that it's the origami. I don't mind that it's the Origami King at all. I think that's clever. They've never done really anything with
I think
origami,
that's
but
fun. It's the writing that it
Yeah,
seems
exactly.
like it's going to be the
exactly
same
right.
type of writing.
If
which
it
is a
was
little
Mario
frustrating.
in an origami universe where everybody was made of origami and now you have origami partners and stuff, like that's cool. That's fun. Like do that. But if it's just like, okay, like I think it's cool that they have origami versions of Mario enemies, but like can they not just be like something unique, something original? Like can it not just be the exact same characters over and over?
You know what would have been
Like-
so cool is if the I don't remember who the boss is, King Ollie or something like that. What if he turned if he like took the partners from like Thousand Year Door, turned them into like origami figures, and you had to rescue them, and then they were your partners afterwards. That'd be
Thousand Year
sick.
Door, the X-Nauts. The X-Nauts are a
X-Nauts are
completely original
completely
race
unique,
that's
yeah.
just throughout the entire series and are never seen again in Mario. Like that's the stuff I miss. That's what I would like to see.
It makes it memorable because then like just like that, you attach those enemies to that game. Like they're from a certain place. They're not just like from literally any Mario game in existence, pretty much.
And that's why I'm concerned about it, because I know that came from Miyamoto's influence. That's why Sticker Star made that huge change of direction, was specifically from what Miyamoto told the development team to, like, he said, it's fine without a story, so we don't need one. That's like a direct quote from Miyamoto on Sticker Star.
I've seen a few questionable quotes from him as well, from like other games where it's just like I don't know what he was
Bless
thinking.
him. He is the father of Mario and Zelda, and he is a genius. I would love to see Paper Mario handled by maybe a
without
younger,
someone else.
more
Yeah.
modern development team.
Honestly, I want to see the guy that I can't remember his name that works on Mario Odyssey. I want to see him tackle this because
Koizumi.
Yes. Because I mean, he implemented a little bit of story into Mario Odyssey, and honestly, those cutscenes made that game super memorable. Like, you're on the moon, you finally rescue Peach. Mario's about to go up and do whatever with Peach, and then Bowser comes in, and then she shuts them both off.
Yeah,
and she just
I love
leaves,
that.
basically abandons
Spoilers.
them. Like, that's hilarious. So I
like
would
the
love to
best
see
part of that
him
game.
have some sort of input on a Paper Mario game. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if he was behind that necessarily, but. Whatever, his team. Let's get his team behind a Paper Mario game.
I will say the game that most impressed me over the past year was Luigi's Mansion 3. That was one that was not.
Yes.
It wasn't built in house by Nintendo. It was another one by Next Level Games, the group that made the second Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
And they're actually a US based developer, I think.
Canada, I believe.
Oh, is it
Canada?
Canada? Okay.
I think so.
That's me.
But it's
That
like
is you.
it's just it's the most Nintendo-y game that I've
Yes.
seen in
A long
5
time.
years
Yeah.
plus.
And it's funny, too.
And it wasn't made by them. Like, it's so cool that I don't know. I feel like they were really able to capture that.
I really
sort of.
feel like, as an aside, like to like sort of talk up Next Level Games. I love whenever they handle a Nintendo game, because they also handled a lot of sports games for Mario, like Power Tennis, Strikers, Strikers Charge, and like they're the most expressive versions of those characters, I think. And like I wish there were more games that
Also
were
made
like
Federation Force though. Oof.
Oh yeah. Well,
Well, they can't all be winners. Let's just be honest.
they can't all be
But
winners.
yeah, like
1 out of
Mario.
10.
I mean, everyone remembers Mario Power Tennis because of the cutscenes. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
they're so interesting.
Yeah.
You got like Wario and Waluigi like kind of teaming up against Mario and Luigi, and getting to watch that. Like, that is fascinating.
I just had like a sad realization that I think Luigi's Mansion 3 has more story than Color Splash or Superstar.
Oh no.
Well, I don't know about that. That might be maybe pushing it a little too far.
I don't know.
But more express. I guess some
Yeah, it's more
aspects
expressive,
are more
yeah.
express. I could agree on that, but
I think my overall perspective of the new title is probably going to be similar to a lot of older fans of the series, which is like I am cautiously optimistic. I think it looks better to me clearly better than Sticker Star, but better than Color Splash. And I still think I had fun with Color Splash. It was an enjoyable time. I don't regret playing it, but it does feel like they're trying to recapture that magic, that lightning in a bottle that they had with the first 2 or 3 titles, depending on what your opinion is. I will say the first 3, but even so, like we'll take something that we can all agree is a masterpiece, Thousand Year Door. I feel like with Sticker Star, they just stripped it of like 90% of its character. With Color Splash, they added some back in. We got back up to like 50% of the fun, and now it seems like with Origami King, maybe we're pushing like 65%. We'll have to see more of it. But I would like to see. Ultimately, I think the reason I was maybe disappointed by this trailer was it shows me they are continuing down the same path that they have been. They're just keeping that trajectory. And I would like to see a new kind of renaissance of Paper Mario, a new reimagining, a reboot, in the same way that we saw Sticker Star reboot the series for better or worse. I'd like to see a drastic change of direction for Paper Mario and just see what that might look like. And, maybe this is closer to that. To me, it looks more like Color Splash, but guess we'll have to wait and see. But not long. It's only out. It's out in 2 months.
July. I honestly
2
really
months.
love
Yeah.
that they did that. They're like, hey, this thing's coming out in a month. You don't have to wait 9 months like it usually is. So that's actually
it's funny.
really cool.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I remember when I finished watching the trailer, that was exactly what I said. I'm like, more studios should do that instead of being like, oh,
just
this
like
game
have
coming
your,
out
have
3
your
years from
product
now.
ready.
Yeah,
I really
I feel like it's
because
mostly a marketing thing though.
probably.
Like usually,
but
is a what?
Like usually, a lot of game. It's usually probably a marketing thing. Like a lot of companies probably want more time to market their game. I usually think if a game is announced that close to release, they're not that confident in it. That means they kind of just want to release it and get it out of the way as soon as possible. 'Cause it's like if you think about a game like a blockbuster. I'm not going to compare like Call of Duty to Mario, Paper Mario, but like they announced that game pretty much more than half a year before. It's just they have time to like hype it up. Have the trailers out, make billboards for it, all that stuff. Again, I don't think Paper Mario's on that level, unfortunately. But I think like 2 months, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like that it is close, personally, but I usually just think from a marketing perspective, that doesn't really give a company enough time to work with it, I guess, in terms of getting it out there as much.
I feel like it has like its
I'd
ups and
rather
downs.
just not wait. I just want it to come out.
I mean, from a consumer perspective, it's definitely better. But I think in general, and from a Nintendo's point of view, like again, like Mario Odyssey, like how long did that? Like they hyped the heck out of that game. That was the thing that people hyped up a lot.
That was only like 6 months.
Yeah, they revealed it with like the
either.
Switch reveal, right? They just had like a 3-second clip of gameplay during the Switch
and they didn't have
console reveal.
They didn't really have an actual reveal until I think March or April. And that even then, that didn't show off the capturing mechanic. That wasn't until June, and then it came out September 27th. I mean, personally, I think
it's still closer.
I think for some games like this one, it expresses more confidence that it's ready sooner because it's like, hey guys, we got this new game coming out. By the way, coming out in 2 months. And honestly, I think that in some ways, I guess it depends on the game, but for like this game, that has me more excited because it's like, okay, you know, I just finished playing all these Paper Mario games. I get to play a new one pretty soon, and that's really cool. It'll be a lot easier to remember that it's coming out soon. But I think it's not like a game-to-game thing. Like some games that it's fine to do it for. Some games you do gotta kind of hype it up for half a year, maybe a year or something.
Yeah.
Because like Last of Us Part 2, I lost all my hype for that game because they announced it like 3 years in advance. I hate when games do that. It's like I just don't care about it. I mean, I'm gonna play it eventually, but right now I could care about it less because I'm tired of hearing about it. It's come out already.
I love that like a lot of people have that stance. Meanwhile, I've just been like, I don't feel like I've heard anything about it in the past like year. I feel like the last trailer I saw was a year ago. Yeah.
It's so annoying. They keep delaying the damn game.
Where are you guys? I've already seen the ending. I already know what happened.
No, I don't want. I'm not going to spoil it for myself.
But I don't know if that's the ending, but the big
something that happens
around a couple weeks ago.
Big spoilerino.
Well, that's a topic for another day. Spoilers, because. Yeah.
What's the most you've ever been spoiled?
I remember I spoiled the entire Subspace Emissary for me because the game came out in Japan and all the cutscenes came out, and I'm like 12 years old. I'm like, oh my god, they're all on YouTube. I'm gonna watch them all. And then I played the game. I'm like, wow,
I won't do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if Origami King were to come out, to come out right after Super Paper Mario, I don't think I would be as reluctant to be excited as I am now. I think because I saw what Sticker Star did to the franchise, and then how Color Splash kind of built upon that.
Right.
I think it is making me a little bit more reserved about the new title, but I know that regardless, it's a Mario game. It's going to be great. Like, even Sticker Star, I hate Sticker Star. It's still probably a good game, like, overall. Like, I think it's got, like, a 70-something on Metacritic.
Right.
You know, like, it's okay. It's not the worst game in the world, despite how badly I might feel that that's the case. But Color Splash, or Origami King, rather, has the potential to improve, and I think that's all I can ask for. So.
I'm sort of hoping that this announcement trailer is a bait and switch. Like, it makes it look like, oh, it's fun. Look at all the places you get to go to. And then it's just like, it's dark. It's dark as hell.
And not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah. It's
You'll
have a bad time.
What I forgot to mention, like, what I wanted to point out was there's a point, if you guys are watching this trailer still, it's a point at about 1 minute and 28 seconds where Mario pulls, like, this cardboard piece off of a building.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sort of thing that, like, that makes me worried, because when paper becomes your sole focus and that's like the only joke of the game, that's where I felt like the writing really suffered in the last two games.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that in Sticker Star, Color Splash, where it was either you're just painting a thing or you're pulling a thing that's paper. There's a lot of stuff like that in those games too.
It was interesting to look at, but not very I don't know, not really very intellectually engaging in the same way that like the badge system of the first two games was, or you know,
not a lot of
in
substance.
The beginning of Sticker Star. I mean, I think one of the first thing you do is you pull on. I'm trying to remember. You pull on something. Oh yeah, I think it was. Well, the toads. That was Color Splash.
There's a toad stuck behind tape.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Sticker Star.
That's what it was. Yeah. Yep. I forgot about that. You have to pull like 8,000 of those yield sign things. And
every sentence that every identical tone says is like, oh geez, thanks, I was really torn up about being stuck on that wall, I'm made of paper.
Yeah.
That was just every Toad.
I was gonna say I think the story is one thing I found very engaging from this trailer.
Yeah.
Because when I watched the trailer for Color Splash, it didn't interest me at all. I'm like, whatever. I'm just not even gonna think about this ever again.
This trailer was way better than Color Splashes.
Yeah,
by far.
It definitely.
It seems like they've laid it up for the plot to be that like this Origami King is trying to transform every person in the world into origami, which is a cool like kind of like it's almost like their own Nintendo-y zombie plot.
Yeah, in a weird way.
And that whole Peach thing in the beginning was pretty creepy. Like there's like I was seeing like Peach being evil, pretty much. Essentially,
that's why. But you want to talk about creepy and look at the whatever the Dark Princess Queen thing was in Thousand Year Door, the final. Well,
Shadow
spoilers,
Queen,
the final boss.
Yes, Shadow Queen Peach.
Oh yeah.
So you got to play Thousand Year Door. Play the ending of that.
I was gonna say it has been done.
That boss is incredible.
Peach has been done.
Yeah, it has been done.
I don't know what I prefer, this one or Shadow Queen Peach. I have to play the game before I can decide that.
That was like one
Shadow
of
Queen Peach is way more creepy. Do you remember that boss fight?
Yeah, I remember. Well,
that was one of the first times.
She grows like 20 tentacle arms.
That could happen to Origami Peach. I don't know yet.
That's true.
I can't make that comparison.
I was just gonna say like that final boss was one of the first times I ever had to look up a walkthrough on how to beat it. Like that final boss was so memorable for me. It was very difficult. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of the honestly, the Shadow Queen fight is probably one of the best Mario boss fights like ever from any Mario game.
Very difficult.
This game has a much, I'd say, bigger emphasis on story than the last two games, just from what I've seen from the trailer. It kind of seems like that was like the main thing they were showing off in the trailer. Like they showed a little bit of like game mechanics and like 2 frames of the battle system. But other than that, though, it looks like definitely like the forefront. Because like the first like half of the trailer was just story based.
Yeah,
pretty much. Well, that's how they started the trailer off.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, for me, like I said, as long as the game is fun, that's fine. I mean, I personally wish the combat was like more like Thousand Year Doors, but it looks like to some extent it's kind of going to be like that. But I don't know. They did not show enough to be able for us to be able to tell.
I feel unique in that spot because like I don't really care if they go back to the original turn-based combat, like because I'm the weird guy, the super fan of Super Paper Mario, but I just would like to see that character that we're used to from those early titles just come back in full force. I'd like to see an original story and an original universe with new characters that, like, it's almost like the first few Paper Mario games could have been part of some other random IP without Mario. Like, if they swapped out the character. And on paper, that sounds bad, but in reality, it's just
paper.
But it's in practice, it makes for something really special, I think. I would like to. I'm lamenting that we don't see more unique races of new enemies and characters and that sort of thing. But I think it's still going to be ultimately a good time. It looks better than Color Splash to me, and I had fun with Color Splash.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be one of the best-selling, if not the best, Paper Mario games, considering how literally every first-party Nintendo game has been on the Switch. They have all been insanely good sellers. So hopefully this game is going in a more old-school direction when it comes to Paper Mario, and when it sells well, that tells Nintendo, hey, do more of this.
And I think too is that like because of what you guys are saying that like it sort of caters to it's on this like weird ground of like no one knows if it's more like the classic ones or more like the newer ones. I feel like that is just going to increase sales even more because like
everyone be curious.
Fans.
Yeah, it almost feels like they're trying to toe the line.
Yeah, fans old and new are going to be like, I want to know if this is more like what I like. So it's going to have a lot of
now
reach.
that you mention it too, that outro where they have the little Metroid teaser.
Oh yeah,
I was trying to remember it. That room felt familiar to me, and I was trying to remember what it reminded me of. I'm thinking it reminds me of the locker room from what was the tournament in Thousand Year Door?
Oh, that was in Chapter
Glitz
4, I
Pit.
think, wasn't it?
When he's like up in the clouds and he's like doing he's fighting Rock Hawk in the ring.
I'll admit, that was one of the weaker parts of that game. There was way too many fights. There was like over 20 fights, I think. It was like literally you're number 18, you got to go to number 1, or it was something like that. And there is no skipping it. Like you actually
the Glitz Pit, that was the name of it.
Yeah, the Blitz Pit. Yeah, also I got to be like I'm seeing a lot of people saying how the Metroid hat is a teaser to Metroid Prime 4. No. I don't think so. I think it's literally just
I think it's just a reference.
I think it's just a reference, personally. There was a DK hat in there. Like, I mean, Paper Mario games always have references to Nintendo games.
Now, people aren't saying that, as far as I have seen, they're not saying that it's a reference to Prime 4, but rather to the rumor of a 2D Metroid coming out this year, which
Oh, yeah.
I could
I mean,
kind
I
of
don't
see
know,
that
maybe.
being like
if it was important enough to put in the trailer, I can see that. I guess.
It's pretty like blatant.
I guess that's a good point. I mean, personally, I don't think it has anything to do with any other game coming out. I'm still assuming there's like no games coming out this year because of everything that's been going on. But
Nintendo Switch
Could be
had
wrong.
games.
they could drop
It's like-
a Metroid trailer or something after this video goes up.
Never
know.
know. Like shaking in the garbage can.
It's a Toad.
it's a toad, I think, a blue toad.
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That also, I'm not that excited about if we have to rescue the Toads again, because that was not very fun in Color Splash, because in Color Splash, you had to find, like, literally like 80 Toads all of different colors, and
fun.
some of them were really annoying to find, so I hope it's not as obnoxious in this game.
Yeah.
What are all these?
Brought up the skull enemy. Sorry, Drew just put up a screenshot of Thousand Year Door.
But do you see how those are similar? Like how I got
Yeah.
that?
I can see that.
I see the similarities.
So I don't know. Maybe there will be some old stuff. It'll be cool.
Yeah, because this looks like some like This looks like some like storage room from obviously
yeah.
some department store or something that has like that uses these paper mache head things, busts of a Donkey Kong and Goomba.
Yeah. And you know what it reminds me of? This is super weird, and probably no one remembers this, but there was also big heads in Yoshi's Crafted World, and it was kind of like there was also like these like canister things you could go in for to like be able to take an extra hit. It's very similar to that. I don't know if it's like I don't even know what the properties of having a giant Metroid hat's supposed to be, or Samus hat.
Has Yoshi only been in Thousand Year Door? Now that I think about it, there was a Yoshi reference in Super Paper Mario, but like,
There was a Yoshi in 64, wasn't there?
was there?
It was
I don't
the
remember.
I think it
blue
was a Yoshi
Yoshi
partner.
with the like reddish scales, or was that Thousand Year Door?
Because you get like a Yoshi partner in Thousand Year Door. I'm
Okay,
just
that's
wondering
what I'm
because it's like
thinking of. I don't know if there's one
Yeah,
in
there's
64.
Yoshi's Village is a whole chapter in the first paper.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
that's
it's
right.
like the tribe, the Yoshi tribe.
I forgot about the tribe.
Yeah.
because
Well,
I'm
I
just
think
thinking
that's
it's
in a
like
couple of games, isn't it?
that looks so familiar to another part in Thousand Year Door 2, like the
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
the island where you fight Cortez, but I don't remember what it's called. There's like a part in the game where you go to an island, and that's where you.
Paper Island.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it's called. But I'm just wondering, like, the reason I bring that up is because you would think that there would be more references to Crafted World, or I don't know, like that. I think that would be cute if they like brought that up. Like, oh, your last adventure was so cool. It had like yarn and stuff.
That'd be pretty funny.
I think that's I never ended up buying those games, honestly, and that's it's just it doesn't appeal to me too much that
They're
the idea of
platformers.
the
They're not missing
well,
much.
no, I like platformers. It's just like that the whole gimmick is a visual style. Like I don't know, like it's cool and it's undeniably neat to see, but like I worry that can make the gameplay kind of one dimensional.
I mean, I played Woolly World and Crafted World, and they're fun, but they're
Yep.
not really memorable. I mean, yeah, I remember how they look, but I don't remember any of the levels in any of those games.
You
Well,
play
like,
them once,
the
put them
closest
down,
thing I
and
can
then-
think of. Sorry, what'd you say?
No, I was just thinking like it's one of those games where you like pick them up, play them. That was fun. Put them down, then like
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
Forget
that's
about
exactly
them.
what that kind of game is like.
The closest thing I can remember that I liked was Kirby's Epic Yarn, where they like made the whole game look like
Oh
yarn.
yeah, I gotta play that still.
But the
That looks
reason
fun.
I liked that game was not because it was all made of yarn, but because it was kind of an interesting mix of like classic Kirby platforming where like there were difficult parts, but you literally could not die. Like you could lose gems and get a lower rating for the level, but you couldn't just get a game over as far as I remember. So it was really neat to be able to play a game that was challenging, but I could also play co-op like with my little sister at the time and be able to have her be just as engaged with the same game. So there was like an outside reason that I felt like that game was worthy of praise. It wasn't just the yarn. Like it didn't really matter that it was made of yarn. It's a cool thing, you know.
right.
Same thing with Origami King. I'm hoping that the meta or the mechanics of the game are a little bit. They have a little bit more depth than just that paper aesthetic. I hope it's not paper thin.
Sorry, video viewers, that just got a random Stream Deck update pop up. That just decided to pop up while we were recording. That's pretty fun. Thanks, Elgato. I appreciate it.
Well, we probably ought to wrap up anyway.
Yeah,
What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Are you
right.
gonna get this game? Are you excited
let us
for
know. Of course
Do
you're
you
gonna get
hate
it.
me for hating on Origami King?
Do you fold,
I hate
bro?
you.
Am I just the worst person in the world?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, well, what else is new?
Do you think the Koopa on the box art should have a blue hat?
I do.
Yes.
At the
why do you
very
think
least.
yes, and a
Every
mustache.
character should just have a blue hat.
He should
Come
have a
on.
mustache.
Yeah.
Dude, give Goomba like a backwards hat. That would actually look pretty gangster.
Yeah.
I can see that. He's just like waddling around the backwards hat, like bobbles as he's walking.
Give him a T-shirt, OG original Goomba.
Original Goomba.
You know.
My name is
Oh,
OG Goomba.
They actually cut it off the box art, but there is a Hammer Brothers behind him too.
How revolutionary.
Yeah, I guess, okay, before we end, the last thing that I do like about this game is that you are teaming up with villains. I think that is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
That's actually really
can see
cool.
that.
And it's weird because, like, the Origami King has kind of, like, captured half of the villains, and it's almost like we have to team up with the other villains to save Peach, as well as save, Bowser's kind, or Bowser's servants, whatever. I think that's a pretty interesting dynamic. I don't know how well that is going to
I think it could be.
apply with the writing, but that's interesting. That's pretty neat. Pretty neat.
What do you
That's
guys
all I got.
think?
Yes. What do you guys think times two?
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you like folding? What do you do in your
What's your
free time?
favorite origami? Send us your favorite origami.
What's your favorite paper kind?
Make us an origami.
Who is your favorite paper?
Who is your favorite,
What's your favorite
paper?
brand of paper?
Your favorite brand of paper?
How do we end a podcast?
Like this? All right, bye.
Yeah, like this.
All right, I'm about to stop.
Alrighty.
How do we end a podcast?
Fine.